Reactor, online. Sensors, online. Weapons, online. All systems, nominal.
Hello everybody, Average Gamer here, and welcome to another episode, or ish, of the, the Town Hall Meeting Synopsis. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over some of the main points, or things that I think are main points. Some things I'm going to put in here, or mention, you may not think are important, or I might not say something that you think is important. But overall, I think this is just generally what I'm thinking. So first things first, what I want to get out of the way is just some general info. Their idea so far, they seem pretty positive about the whole one patch a month thing now. Apparently the patch for March is going to be quote-unquote epically huge. It's going to probably be one of their biggest patches known to date. Apparently the list is pages upon pages upon pages. So that's a good thing. Apparently they're definitely getting more stuff done when it comes to one patch a month instead of one every 2 weeks or 2 a month. So that's definitely going very well. They feel like they're definitely getting a lot more done, which is always a good thing, right? So mainly they say it's looking better. It's looking better and better if they're doing just one a month. So what's going on? Well, first thing they wanted to talk about was obviously one of the things they talked about was obviously the patch for the 15th of March. There's going to be a new public queue map. It's going to use the Grim Portico set of that kind of like that crystalline style map. But it's going to be but it's going to be downsized a little bit. They basically said Grim Portico it was too funnel like or lane like to make it 12v12 happy, like the quick play quick play like. So what they're going to do is they're basically going to make a map roughly the same size as Tourmaline, but not as open as Polar Highlands. And so it's going to have like a nice flow between brawling areas with lots of cover versus a large open area. Kind of like how Tourmaline is in the middle, it's wide open, but if you go around the edges, most of the edges, there's some form of cover. There's going to be a new gun mode, Domination. It's basically going to be like a King of the Hill. Basically, there's going to be a single point on the map that needs to be captured, and there's going to be 1 to 2 secondary objectives per side, and then the secondary objectives are basically going to help speed up the capturing of the primary objective. So picture it like, if we're looking at a map, there's going to be a primary, a secondary, and a tertiary. Basically, when you capture the 2 secondaries, your primary goes a lot faster, which is pretty good. They're going to be making changes to Conquest mode. Basically, it's going to be all about the objectives. Capture points are going to be neutral by default, all of them. There's no auto-win by wiping the automatic team, and then you can only win by reaching the point limit, 750, though they might change that. If you also die while playing in Conquest, you'll now have the ability not to just go through the different mechs, but go to the different points as well. So you can actually look at Alpha, Beta, Charlie, Theta, all that stuff, and actually go through all the different capture points and take a look. They've changed capturing behavior globally through all the different game modes. Basically, you can shut down a cap by stepping inside the cap area. Like, you can actually just stop it. You can also completely stop the capturing process for 3 seconds by shooting any mech active in the capturing area. So kind of like how it is in World of Tanks, where you can reset the spawn point because the spawn captures like 3 times faster in World of Tanks, for example. But what you can do technically is hit someone while they're capping, and then while they're capping, it stops, it freezes, and you can keep hitting them, and it freezes it down. The voting screen has also been changed, so now you can only vote once. You can't change it. And you can't see any values of votes until you've picked voting. So there's no more gaming the system. One of the things that I definitely have noticed is the big units. Big units of 12, 13, of what they were doing basically. From what I've read, some of the big units, what they were doing is they were dropping into random games, all by themselves. So there'd be like 12 guys. They would drop in mechs that they really don't want to play in, and they would be specifically upping their scores on purpose. So they would go through like 5 or 6 mechs real quick, picking the maps and the modes that they weren't going to get. Getting a 6 times 4, 6 times 5 multiplayer. And there were about 8 or 9 people all doing this at the same time. They'd all do it, and then they'd all get together, get the mechs that they want, get everything the design that they want, and then they would drop on the map that they want with the mechs that they want, and then they would go do it again and again and again and again. So they're kind of stopping it from being exploited like that. Now, they even, it's definitely few and far between, but I mean, it was happening enough that this is one of the things they kind of did. Speaking of changes, they're also going to be getting a 2K resolution on all the new mechs, so which is pretty good. I like the fact that they're going to do the 2K resolution. What I have here is also a picture of the new mech model. So I think this is in an awesome, I think, old mech model, new mech model, even with the working dashboard. I like it. Definitely looks a lot more newer. Looks very COD, COD esque. Looks more modern. This one, they even admitted, was actually for a different game altogether. And they just threw it in there last minute. So now they've redesigned it, and that's coming out next month as well. Team damage is also going to be set up differently now. So now the penalty is minus 21 C-bills for every point of damage that you do. Basically, it's 21 C-bills for every point of damage you do. So basically, for every 1 point of damage that you do, you're negating that money. It's going to be audibly done. There's going to be 5 new mastery bundles next month. There's going to be a new trial mech rotation. They haven't said exactly what it is. And there's going to be additional flamer HUD information. Don't exactly know what that's going to be. They're also going to be obviously monitoring things as everything goes. Now, as for the tournament, prior to the tournament, they did talk about cheating, about the fact that there is when they did the math, they looked at it, they figured that about 1% of people are cheating in the game. Now, I mean, if you compare that to, say, COD and Battlefront, they're sitting anywhere between the low 30s up to like 40% of cheating, and they have, millions upon millions of people playing this game, right? So 30 to 40% people cheating, that's several hundreds of thousands of people cheating at any given time, playing all over the place. So yeah, they're saying that roughly for MechWarrior, it's 1%. So now it comes down to, 1%. They figure 35% is half, so you're looking at about 70,000 people, they figure, that I've estimated play MechWarrior Online right now, is what I'm estimating. 75,000. If it's 70,000, it's 1%. That's 700 people. It's still a lot. They said it's less than 1%, but even if we go to half a percentage-wise, that's not that great, right? They said then they know who the cheaters are. They have them monitored. They know exactly what they're cheating, how they're cheating, what they're doing, and all this stuff. And basically, they are going to ban them. I'm figuring like a 90-day ETA, or they're going to ban them at least before the tournament. So, and the tournament is set to be in March. So the ban will happen probably at the beginning of March, because the tournament's at the end of March or late March. So we'll see. With that, they're also going to be launching a new. In the next little bit, they're going to be launching a new launcher as well. That's going to have the tournament servers up on it, where basically everything's unlocked for you to play. And basically you can practice. I know my unit will be doing it just for shits and giggles, probably, logging in and just playing. But yeah, it'll also have access to the private test server and well, the regular launcher as well. Whether you'll be able to get into the test server or not, I don't know. I think you should be able to get into the test server, because that would be kind of entertaining. I know for a fact that if that was the case, I would definitely be doing that often, going to the test server and doing that, as long as they reset it once a month or something like that. That would be good. But back to the cheating. So yeah, basically they said they know who's cheating, they know how they're cheating, but they're also just kind of gaming them, meaning that, or watching them, monitoring them, and surveilling them. Basically what I think they're doing is they're watching them to see how they're cheating and how they're integrating the cheating into the game, so they can better counteract it. That's what I'm thinking. So there you go. And also to stop it in the future. So I mean, they already know who it is, so they're probably obviously doing things in the background, like basically probably have already told them, like, we know you're cheating, like, yeah, So you're going to get banned, so whatever. Some people think they're not going to ban them because, you know, they're the quote-unquote whales, the people that are spending tons of money on the game. I don't think so. I think these are people that are probably not spending any money, or if, you know, or if they are, they're spending other people's money, not theirs, like, you know, mommy, daddies, whatever. So, you know, take that as it will. So, to the tournament. So, basically, the tournament website will be set up sometime in March, late in the month. It's going to be featuring a team management system. They're saying that all security measures and more are going to be taken. It's going to be an 8v8 tournament. Basically, all expenses are going to be covered for the grand finals only. They're going to be in autumn or fall. It's going to be in Vancouver, California, or Seattle. Not too sure. And PGI is going to provide the computers. Meaning that you can't bring your own computer, you can't bring your own mouse, you can't bring your own keyboard. They're providing everything, and that's it. There's going to be ongoing conversations, despite what... basically, they definitely want to make competitive MechWarrior Online a frequent thing. So, they're looking at the Electronic Sports League. They're definitely looking at them about it. The prize pool can be increased by the community via, you know, bundles containing items, particularly community funded stuff. So they're definitely looking at, you know, they could go above 100 grand right now. They're going to, as they release additional things, it's going to go into basically a huge pool, which will be pretty good. It's going to have its own game version. It's going to be locked. It's going to be, you know, taken and locked in from the main game, obviously. There's going to be no competitive tweaks. Let's see here. It's going to be completely separate from the main test and dev builds of the game. So it's going to be its own build altogether, which is pretty good. And it's going to be region dedicated as well, meaning that it's going to have the three different regions. Which is pretty good, right? So that's it about the tournament at the moment. They mentioned something about sponsors and things like that, which are pretty good. The next part is the mech resizing. Right now, they showed a picture of a Nova that was about as tall as the kneecap on an Atlas, just for shits and giggles, for obviously for funness, and it was pretty funny. So the reason why I have the Nova here, let's turn down the game volume. The reason why I have the Nova here is because it's going to be the one apparently is going to be the most drastically changed. So the reason why I have the Nova is because right now, if you're looking at the height of the Nova, it's actually significantly taller. So see right here where this line is almost? This is actually going to be the new height of the Nova, roughly. Like right in around this area here is where the new height is going to be. It's going to be reduced by 18% for height and all that stuff. Give me 1 second here if I can see. Here we go. So here is going to be the picture of the new Nova and the old ones. You can actually see quite the height difference, right? It's quite significant altogether. But yeah, I like it. It's very nice. It's, you know, they have all the same things on them and everything. Well, I wanted to know were these rescaled, because the weapon systems should still be the same size. You know, missiles and all that stuff. It does have a different build on it though, so you know. I mean, the autocannon's not there, but it's there. That's one of the things. Now, the one picture I mentioned about the Atlas here. So this was their initial picture that they released, showing the new Nova versus the Atlas. This is just a joke. For the record, this was just a joke. But yeah. So that's what they're talking about. They're going to rescaling is in the process. They got all the math done and all that stuff, so it's looking really good. They're saying it's tentative for the May patch, but worst case scenario, June. With also the new sizes though are going to come the reworking as well. They're going to look at it. Not all the mechs are going to be done at the same time though, so they're figuring it's going to be, I think it's May, June, and July. They said it's going to be a 3-month rollout of a reworking / rescaling of all the robots. Pretty good. The decal system, speaking of mechs, it's probably not going to be done until the April patch. Now, the initial version will be limited. Basically, it's going to have faction decals only. So that's it, just faction decals. Decals for custom that you make yourself will be available soon to follow after that. But they said all of them will be screened, meaning that dick pics, which is what they really went into in detail, will not be allowed. For balancing for the April for April is going to be done as well for small tweaks and little modifications to PPCs and LBXs. Very minor heat reductions and speed increases for PPCs, and then they're saying a very minor decrease in the spread of the LBX. So the LBX will be not as shotgunny, well, a little bit less than shotgunny, and there's going to be a little bit less heat done for PPCs, and obviously it'll be a little bit faster. AMS changes, kinda, not too sure. Basically, they're talking about how you now might be able to be getting AMS rewards for shooting down missiles. We'll see. And they're also talking about a new replacement for the heat system. Basically, they're saying they're not sure how it's going to work. Basically, the thing is the ghost heat is failable. Fallible. They don't like the ghost heat system. They've been trying to figure out for a while what they can do without it, how to get around it. So they're going to remove it. A little sip of my Coke there, or my coffee. So they're going to replace it. It's going to be removed altogether. Now, basically the way they figured it was, and I quote Russ, "I don't like cresting a ridge and dying with a single alpha. High damage alpha strikes should be very rare. It should be a very, very rare thing. You shouldn't be firing alphas every time you shoot." Their plan is to increase the match time and time to kill, or TTK. Basically, they said it's going to be not done until later, like June, July, but it's going to be replacing the ghost heat system altogether. They don't even like the name ghost heat whatsoever. Now, one of the things that was mentioned was the fact that they wanted to get into more authentic, like more BattleTech, because BattleTech and the BattleTech and the lore apparently. I don't know much about the lore. Basically, alpha strikes were last-ditch efforts, last-ditch things to be used in a match, right? If you did it, it's because something bad was happening. So they're going to try and figure out it. They're in the process of trying to work on a different way to work out the ghost heat and all that stuff. So, some things are a little bit better. I don't know exactly the details when it comes to all of that. I personally, as a gamer, when I first started playing about a year ago, when I was told about ghost heat and the fact that, if you stack weapons on top of each other, they heat up, I kind of realized that as, well, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, every weapon creates, say, a 2% heat. You put a whole bunch of them on one arm, they're going to multiply together, right? It's like if you put, two things that create heat together, they're going to be more efficient and create even more heat. So, it only made sense to me because you're clustering a lot of weapons in a small chassis. It was heating up a lot faster. But, then I was told, no, basically it's, if you have two of this weapon but not of this weapon, the heat spikes faster, blah, 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 blah. Which is stupid. But they're doing that anyways. So, speaking of changes, there's going to be a new mech. It's going to be the Phoenix Hawk. It's going to be available around March 2nd. It's going to be a single mech pack, just like the Marauder, the Rifleman, the Archer, and the Warhammer. It's going to be 45-ton medium mech. It's going to have 2 heroes right out of the box. And it's going to have reinforcement options. So it's going to have an ECM version and a masked version as well. So overall, there's going to be the four coming out of the box, plus the 2 heroes, plus the ECM and the mask. So you're looking at about, eight different mechs. So here are the pictures of the different variants. I got this one here, which I like. Got this one here, which I like. This one looks really good. I think this is the Adama one or something. I don't know. But very good different versions, different variants, which is pretty good. Those are pretty much the major points from everything. I mean, there was some information about a new tech upgrade. Basically, no specific information yet. They said it could take anywhere from basically a month and a half to make the overall decision itself. Basically, this says it's difficult to talk about anything. He said he didn't want to give any information or talk about anything until the information from what happens at what Crytek does at GDC in Las Vegas. They said they're possibly there's a possibility of the game being entirely shifted to a completely different engine altogether. Apparently, they're doing an assessment and a review of that, like looking at actually changing the engine altogether. They said if that happens, it'll take 6 to 10 months for the entire game engine to change over. With that, also in the process, possible VR head support. I'm not too sure. Information they said about the post-March patch. Assault game mode, it's going to still be the same, but they're going to completely down the road. They're going to revamp it. They're going to add bases, like actual bases, like you said before. They're going to have ECM, UAV, and AMS towers. There's going to be a drop ship for fire support that it's going to come in. I think he said every couple minutes. Destroyable turrets and barriers, cap points inside the base. Points. There was a plural there. Some people asked about, and I think I can't remember if it was Darren or Phil that asked about respawn modes. But Russ said he didn't want it. Kind of like how War Thunder is, where you get 3 tanks. You pick your 3 tanks before the match, and then you go in and it's a respawn. It's basically like Assault. There's 1 point, or it's more like Conquest, but with 1 point in the middle of the map somewhere, and everyone just piles in and has a couple times. He wants Assault to be the quote-unquote defining game mode for MechWarrior Online. Basically, there's 2 huge bases, and both teams of 12 fight over the base and hit the base. Overall, long term, he says he wants at least 5 game modes, preferably by May. They're saying they're going to work on a female version of a pilot, which is good. There's going to be clan and inner sphere pilots as well, so you can when you're in a clan mech, it's male or female of the clan type. Vice versa for inner sphere. They're also going to do a color changeable uniform, so you can actually change the color uniform when you go into your cockpit. But yeah, so overall patch date they're figuring for April will be the 19th. Lots of questions were asked. Purchasable sound packs or sound pack support. Basically, they said they don't support sound packs in any form or fashion. But at the same time, they won't hold anything against people if they're getting sound packs done. They said they might do sound packs in the future for purchase. But there's probably going to be, they said before, that a revamp of the audio altogether in the game. Sometime this year in 2016. Couple questions about, like I said, for modding for sound packs. They said it's all good. Don't worry about that. Sound pack files are okay. There were, let's see here, some questions about community warfare. Somebody was talking about taking down a wall between faction play and quick play. Basically, because people were complaining about the queue times for each. They're saying right now, because the average for quick time wait is 78 minutes for queue time and quick play, and 25 to 30 minutes on community warfare. They said it's a little high right now. They were asked about merchandising, that they were thinking about merchandising some of the stuff outside. They said it's actually up to Tops, whoever Tops is. Actually, I wanted to Google Tops. Tops. Oh, Tops is the card company. Interesting. Okay. And it has Tops Direct and things like that. Interesting. Okay, so they actually hold the rights to it. There was questions about replays. Basically, they don't have he really didn't give an answer, good, pro or con about it. Basically said, basically to do records, there needs to be a system that records every single input, and that happens in the game, that records every single thing that everybody does, and then needs to store it somewhere. What I was thinking was, why doesn't it just store it on your computer? Like, World of Tanks does. Or, World of Tanks does it. There's questions about saving mech loadouts, but the optimization of it. Because right now, the more mechs you have when you save, it takes longer. They're saying that it's most likely related to the tech upgrade they want to do for optimization of the mech lab and all that stuff. They said they're working on it, but they don't know how much they can do, really. Chat functionality improvements. There were a couple questions about it, but no big deal there. There were also a lot of questions about mech variants and chassis, like what the timeline was. They asked basically, what if 3053 technically is the year the game is set in. The Battle of they basically said the Battle of Tukid is it, right? They wanted to go a couple years advance, a couple years behind, and that's generally it. Basically, the initial variant of a mech has to be in by 3050, they said. And if not, it's not likely to be the game to get put in, for example. They said, like, for example, the Mad Cat 2 is on the cusp of the timeline. It might be and it might not be. They're debating it at work. A couple of questions about PSR, but the fact that people just think the more you play, it's all based on win-loss. I personally do not think that. I've noticed in wins, I haven't moved. I've gone, I've noticed in losses, I've gone up, I've gone down, I've stayed in the middle, pretty much on a regular basis. If I do at least 250 damage and do okay, I don't go anywhere. If I do really well above that, then I go up. I think there's no problem with the PSR right now. So, question about private matches in the stock met build again button. Claim mastery packs for the Direwolf, Timberwolf. They said they can't really do the mastery packs for the clans right now, because if you go to this store, right, to make it fair, to make like an actual purchase fair, right, when you go to buy one of these mechs, there's a hero, a champion, and then a regular variant. Right now, for the clans, there are no heroes, and there really are no champion mechs. I think there's just the Direwolf and the Timberwolf, I think, and that's it. So they said once they get hero mechs down the road, I think the Kodiak, they said, will probably be the first one to have a mastery pack, because it already has a hero, or they will have the Timberwolf. Well, they already have a champion. So the initial thing was they released the hero. When they release the hero, they also release a mastery pack with it. There were questions about faction camos being available to every Intersphere mech, every mech, whatever, because some mechs don't have access to it, some do. Basically, they're saying it's a bandwidth issue. Basically, it's just, and I don't mean bandwidth as the internet. I mean there's like only X amount of people working, and they can only do so much. Question. Phil specifically asked a question about time to play on Polar Highlands, because he's a dick, and he likes to run in and shoot and snipe and all that stuff, and he doesn't like missiles all that much. He's like, are you happy with the outcome of the new map? Any thoughts? And then Darren said, any thoughts on the maps in general? And Russ responded back with, Polar Highlands is the third most voted map. When you get the new changes in the voting screen, they'll vote for what they actually want to play. Right now, Canyon Network is first. Mining, it goes Canyon Network, Canyon Network, Mining Collective, and then Polar Highlands. He's like, when I've played it, I haven't experienced LRM hell on it yet. Probably because I run radar deprivation on it on every loadout. He's like, I don't like getting hit by LRMs. So there you go. There you go. Tech engine upgrade, I mentioned that already. The new pilot model. Yes, that's the general synopsis. A 30-minute synopsis of a 3-hour-long town hall. Yeah, it was insane. A couple times I almost fell asleep during it because there was a lot said during it, a lot done during it. I have to admit it was quite a lot of stuff. Not much more that comes off the top of my head really sticks out. I mean, obviously there's the new mech, which we already knew was coming out. He said last month there were going to be one. Pretty much at the beginning too, he mentioned that he likes doing the whole thing where it's a town hall every month at the end of the month, kind of giving everyone a heads up as to what's going to go on over the next couple months. My only thing is he's probably going to repeat a lot. That's why we ended up spending 3 hours, because I think at least an hour and a half was on stuff that he already talked about. So, yeah. But yeah, there you go. There is a quick little overview. One thing, as I said, long term, there will be more of these little bundles here. There's going to be the new models and all that stuff, and that's going to be the big thing. So, there you go. Anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time on the battlefield. Bye-bye.